Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so very much for joining me. If you are new to this channel or to my channel, thank you so much for clicking on my video. So thank you so very much for your support. I really do appreciate it. Sure, it's been actually a challenge to get this video out because my phone acted up on me, my mic acted up on me, so that's why my video is a bit late this time. So I thought, since my phone is behaving today and the mic seems to be behaving today, let me just do this video and the next video. So guys, I apologize for that. So into the video we go. Today I wanted to talk about one of the challenges that I have faced during my time growing up, and even till now. I feel like it plays such a foundational role in my life, because I think some of my behavior, or actually I know some of my behavior now currently, is directly a result of what happened in my past, right? So I know that even during my research with weight loss surgery, even losing weight and all that, you have to go for some sort of counseling, some sort of therapy, just so that you can try and work out your feelings. Why is it that you turn to food for comfort? And what is it? So I found that if you face your past, and look into your past, then a lot of things can be explained um, as to what's happening now in the present. So I feel like one of the subjects that I used to battle with as a teenager, as a young girl, as a teenager, as a young adult, I found that being my size, I was always the one who was bigger than my friends. There was also the other factors, that things like I was darker than my friends. Didn't have straight I don't have straight hair like my friends. But the biggest part was actually my biggest inferiority was actually my weight, right? So I always used to feel like it's because of my weight that people don't like me, and it's that thing that made me feel rejected by not just my peers, by society, by my school friends, even people or friends, my peers at church. I felt very rejected as I grew up. So I feel like my current behavior um, is a direct reflection on how I handled rejection as a child, or as a teenager, or even as a young adult. So that is one of the subjects that I actually wanted to talk about today, and that is obesity, or being overweight, and rejection. It's also a factor, it's also like a foundation, and I think a lot of us have to look into what was it that we were feeling. Is it really just anger, or is it something attached to rejection? My first experience with rejection was when I was very young. I didn't even know it was called rejection, but I felt like, as a young child, not just being picked on or bullied, or felt like the outsider. Apart from that, I always used to feel like I don't belong. Why is it that people don't like me? Why is it that my friends don't like me? Why is it that certain friends don't like me, especially the ones that you want to be in a clique with, or be in a relationship or friendship with? So I found that, why is it that people just don't like me, or kids don't like me? So I used to, not just the bullying made me feel out, but also just things that that the kids would do. Like I didn't have any friends, that I could turn to. I think, okay, let me explain the whole thing. Here in South Africa, we have most primary school and we've got high school. Um, so primary school would have, in my olden days, now you know how old I am. In the olden days, they used to call it like sub A and sub B. And then after that, you go into standard 1 up to standard 5, right? And then from standard 5, from standard 6, it's high school up to standard 10, right? So by then, now in the modern days, it is known as grade 1 up to grade 7. It's primary school, and then from grade 8 up to grade 12 is high school. So when I was in grade 1 and 2, it wasn't so bad. I wasn't so aware of it. But when I got to grade 3, standard 1, I had to change schools, and because we moved to a new neighborhood and then there was a school nearby. So there I had to now start making new friends. And that's when I started noticing. I tried to make new friends, like you see a clique of girls standing together, and you want to, just join the clique. And or even during break time when everybody's having their lunch boxes and stuff, or their food to eat, then you want to go and join some, a group, because everybody had a little crew that they would hang out with during break time. So I didn't have, and I tried this one and I tried that group or that crew or whatever, or that clique, and I had the same experience. I'll either have one of two experiences, right? I would either join, like they'd be sitting in a group of, like in a circle. You know how us girls are. We sit in a circle, we're talking and we chat and whatever. And so I would want to join the circle. So they make me join the circle, but then one of two things would happen. Um, the Maybe the one girl, the leader and the semi-leader of the group, the leader would say to the semi-leader of the group, you know what, I want to go to the bathroom, let me go, come with me, to the semi-leader, or the co-leader or whatever of the group. And then the two of them would stand up, go to the bathroom, and then slowly but surely I noticed the crew or the group is getting smaller, because one by one they'd get up, oh, I'm going to the bathroom, oh, I'm going to wherever, I'll be right back, or whatever. And then I ended up sitting by myself. And when, I look around again, there is that little crew, they formed a circle again, but somewhere else, and they just left me there by myself. And that made me feel like, wow, did I just get, dodged, or what is it? And then I'll try and join another group, and another, one of two things would happen. The other thing that would happen is we'd be sitting in a group and, in a circle or whatever, and then, we're talking and having a conversation, and then all of a sudden I'll just notice the circle is closed. I am on the outside of the circle trying to participate in a conversation, and they talk over me, and they that one for me was the cruelest. I mean, it felt a little bit better if they disappear on me, but then to just form a circle right in front of me and I'm excluded, I mean, that for me was very cruel, and it used to break my heart. I would go home sad. I would go home crying by myself. So I found it very hard, and I didn't know for a fact that was rejection, but now that I realize it, or when you go and talk, when I talk to my counselor or somebody, I realized that it was that group rejecting me. So those things used to happen when I put myself out there trying to make friends. So I experienced it one or two ways. And I experienced that in school, and I experienced it at home, maybe trying to make friends with the neighborhood kids. I would experience that same thing even at church, like going to Sunday school and to going, or when I started going to youth, I had what they gave me the exact same treatment. Either they disappear on me or they exclude me from the circle eventually. So I used to feel like rejected at school, rejected by my neighborhood, uh, and rejected even in church. So for me, I had to learn now to just adapt and protect myself from getting hurt. So I eventually just made peace with the fact that nobody likes me, nobody wants to be my friend. Um, Eventually just made peace with that. So then break time at school, I would just take my lunchbox, find a nice quiet spot and sit by myself until girls actually approached me, right? Um, or one or two girls. In high school, I had like two friends all through high school, and in primary school, I had one or two friends also all through primary school. So I didn't have like a clique of friends. And at church, I eventually formed a part of a clique of friends, but for me, I don't know if I really belonged. And even if I was a clique of part of a clique of friends, I used to feel like they feel sorry for me, because those experiences, those early experiences already printed something in my head that people don't like me. So even those ones who reached out to me or made me part of the crew or the clique, I felt like they just felt sorry for me. I mean, these are girls who are pretty, they've got long straight hair, they've got light skin, and they've got beautiful bodies. And here I am with my plumpy little body, bigger than everybody. Um, they just feel sorry for me because of that earlier experiences with rejection. So I build up these walls, and I think I'm still the same way because even now my behavior is strange to certain people. Because I'll give you an example. Like, I can walk into a room full of people, like go to a party or whatever, a room full of people. I'll just scout out the room for a nice quiet spot and I'll go sit there. I don't even bother trying to mingle or make friends or try to get to know people where I am. I don't, because of the walls I've built up when I was younger before. Because I don't want to put myself out there and get hurt or get rejected again and feel like that little girl who people just don't like, who felt like people just don't like you or people don't want you. So even now, by reflex, I do that. I find a quiet spot, I sit with maybe a drink or a cup of coffee or whatever, where I am, and just listen to people's conversations. But I won't just physically stand up and go and join people's conversation. I won't do that anymore. And other people, it makes them uncomfortable because they ask me, why are you sitting by yourself? Why are you not mingling with the other people? And for me, it's difficult to explain because I just don't want to put myself out there, because of what happened when I was still very young and my experience with rejection. I built up these walls, that I just don't want people to hurt me. So I feel like when I was a child, that is when even the eating started, because I'd get home, I'd attack the fridge or the bread bin because I would just want to eat something just to make me feel better, just to make the sadness go away. And food became was now my friend, and it became my obsession at a later stage, because whenever I have an emotion, whether it's negative or positive, I turn to food. So that's one of the reasons, I feel like foundational reasons why I turned to food as a friend, because I felt like I was so rejected. I didn't have, people didn't want me. So food wanted me, food loved me, food comforted me. So when I walk into a room, that is my behavior. Um, I don't have a lot of friends I can literally count my friends, close friends, on one hand. So for me, rejection has played such a big role in where I am right now. And it just snowballed from there. So I feel like you have to deal with the issues in your life. Otherwise, you won't be successful in the journey of weight loss, or even in any journey, any addiction that you are trying to conquer or anything. You have to find out what was the root, what triggered it, what is, why is it that I'm behaving this way, why is it that I'm turning to food or alcohol or drugs or whatever, why is it that I'm turning to this thing, what triggered it. So for me, I feel like the foundational cause and the first reason why I started um, binge eating and eating when I'm angry, eating when I'm sad, is because I felt like I didn't belong anywhere. I felt so rejected by my peers. I felt so rejected by society. And it was even worse because I felt like the adults would kind of stoke the kids, because as an adult, sometimes I'd be walking past your house and you would just give a comment, and your children are hearing this comment like, oh my gosh, look at how fat you are, and you must go home and go exercise or something. And then the kids would repeat that, not just at home, they'll repeat that at school as well. And then, I felt like the adults rejected me. The adults instigated the kids to be mean. So for me, it just snowballed from there. So I didn't want to expose myself to people anymore, because I felt like they were so mean. They were mean. I was always just in the house. If I have to go out, it will be church. It will be maybe if my mom sends me to the shop, or if I have to go to school. But other than that, I just didn't want to be outside. I just didn't want to mingle with anybody, because I was too afraid of getting hurt and getting rejected, and feeling that, and getting that rejected experience every single day. So I would avoid that. So I think that's the reason why I am the way I am. I'm an introvert. Um, I'm very quiet. I'm a very quiet person. People know me as a quiet person. But I also had to learn to defend myself. So I feel like now I know how to tell people where to get off if I feel like they are out of line, because I had to learn some mechanisms to survive. I mean, people can't just walk all over me. But rejection was the core root of me feeling I don't belong, people don't love me. And I know that it's like that with a lot of teenagers, um, because it doesn't necessarily have to be because you were overweight or obese, or you have weight issues. It can be maybe because you feel like your hair is not straight enough, you're not light enough, in complexion, or you don't have blue eyes, or a beautiful nose, or your teeth are skew, or whatever. We all have our little insecurities, or big insecurities, as other people would also see it. So I just felt like so rejected by everyone. Um, there was also scenarios. I don't even want to talk about feeling rejected by boys my own age, because all of my friends had like love interests, or boyfriends, or steady boyfriends that they had, and I was like, I didn't have anyone who was interested in me. Eventually, I just, I realized also that boys probably were just interested in you because maybe they felt sorry for you, or they wanted to get into your pants. So they pretend to be interested. So I had to guard myself. I had to guard myself a lot while growing up. And so much to a point where grade seven, I got to grade 9 or so, where I just decided, boys don't like me. I feel even worse rejected by that. Let me give you an example of why I felt also so rejected by guys or boys my age. Is because, when we were growing up, we had this thing of, like, if your friend comes and visits you, or you go and visit your friend, then when it's time to go home, you take your friend halfway, as in you walk your friend halfway to her home or her house, and then you leave her halfway, and then you go back, and then she goes on, home as well. So sometimes after studying together, or my some of my school friends were spilled over to being my home friends, and my school friend also spilled over to being my friend at church. So we do homework together, or we'll visit each other. So I would walk her maybe home. Say, for instance, she came to visit me, I'd walk her home halfway. And my friends, all of them, pretty girls, slender girls, you know, beautiful long hair girls, light skinned girls. And I used to feel like, so I would walk with them. You can clearly see that the two of us are walking together. But lo and behold, some guys would be approaching us, like we approaching each other like this. And the guy would spot my friend, and then he would just greet my friend. Like, he'd go, "Hey girl, how are you? How you doing?" or whatever. And then, move it to the side, and then the two of them will be talking together. So I got used to just standing one side, waiting for the conversation to finish, and then further walking my friend halfway, right, to our house. But while standing there, I used to always think to myself, like, oh my gosh, clearly we were walking together. She was not walking alone, right? And I'm as big as a house. How is it that she just could not even acknowledge me? It's like she was walking by herself, like I'm invisible, And I used to always say that to myself, I'm as big as a house. Why is it that this guy didn't even acknowledge me? Just a simple hi would have done the trick. I'm not jealous because he's interested in my friend or whatever, but just acknowledge that I exist, right? So that was also just another form of rejection for me. So being rejected by my neighborhood, by adults, by the kids at school, being rejected by the kids or the youth at church as well, and also by guys, because come on, any girl growing up and any boy growing up, if your peers are not interested in you, it sucks. It really makes you feel like I'm not of any value to this world. I'm not of any value to anyone. So that was my experience also with boys. Every single time my friend would get the attention, but I wouldn't even get an acknowledgement, not even a hello, right? So I had to just learn. I had to also just learn to let that go as well. Let it go. I started just focusing on my school books, on my grades, getting past every grade and just passing to the next grade so I can finish school and things like that, and just accomplish what I wanted to accomplish in life, right? So there were those things. I just started blotting it out of my mind. I just couldn't care less anymore about having a relationship. I couldn't have cared less anymore having a deeper friendship, or having a clique of friends, and friends that you can just hang out with and be silly with or whatever. I just closed myself off a lot because I felt I just didn't feel of any value to anyone. Until one day, guys, one day, things just changed for me. I literally just saw the world in a different way. Uh, I still want to give you another story time about how I made peace with my complexion, the fact that I'm darker than all of my friends, and how I made peace with the fact that I don't have straight hair. I've got 4C hair. Remember, I just finished school. I did my first year a bridging course at Wits Technicon. That time it was still Wits Technicon. We used to call it TWR. I was at the Doornfontein campus doing a bridging course in IT. So if you pass IT, if you pass that course with 60% your average on all the 12 modules, then they automatically send you over to the first year IT, right? And that one was in Auckland Park. So when I finished that course, I went now over to doing my first year in Auckland Park. I met this friend of mine, and me and her were hustlers. If you watch one of my older videos that I just started off with my channel about money, me and her used to hustle together. So we hustled together, and sometimes we wouldn't even have money for food. We just have enough money to, for transport to get to school and to get home. And then sometimes you just have that extra R1 or R2, and we'll take that money, we club it together, we go to the cafeteria and just buy a packet of slop chips and share the packet of slop chips, and just, at least to have something in our stomachs. So one day we went to the cafeteria, we were now scraping our cents together, our R1 and R2 together, and then this guy walks up. We were sitting at a table, and then this guy walks up to our table, and then he says, hi ladies. And me, seeing the guy walking to our table, thinking with that mindset already, okay, he's probably coming to my friend because she's pretty, she's got a nice body and all that, light skinned. I just thought he's probably coming to my friend. So when he came to the table and he said, hi ladies, I heard, hey girl, right? I heard that. So I didn't respond. I took the money that we clubbed together, and my intention was just to go and buy us something to eat while this guy is chatting up my friend, right? And just as I was about to get up from the table, he turns to me and he puts his face in my face, and he's like, did I do something wrong? And I looked at him, I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I greeted you and you didn't respond. Did I do something wrong? Did I say something wrong? And I'm like, you greeted me? It's like, yeah, I said, hey ladies, and you didn't respond. Only your friend responded. And for the first time in my life, I'm sure this guy won't remember it. Even my friend will probably not remember it. But that changed my life, right? I started to see the world in a different way. I started to see that, could it be that one of two things? That I wasn't invisible, right? It was just maybe in my head, or I felt like the rejection emotions clouded me so much and was so intense for me that that it just consumed me, and I didn't see it correctly. Could it be that? Or could it have just been God sheltering me from bad friends, bad company, and he just wanted me to focus on where he wanted me to go, in life, and be successful in life, just as my mom and dad and everybody else wanted me to be successful? Could it be that? Or is it just that I do exist? I just didn't see it. Because that day, I really truly just realized, like, this guy actually sees me. And then from then onwards, I felt like, okay. After that, I had more experiences where I've noticed that, girls that would approach our table or approach us in class or whatever, they greet like, hey guys, hey ladies, things like that. I was like, whoa, I actually do exist. I actually do exist. This world actually does see me. So I don't know, really, sometimes when God is grooming you and forming your life and structuring your life, it's hard when he's still grooming you and molding you into what you need to be, and how you need to get to your success. It's not easy going through the process, just like the hospital experience for me was not easy, but it was for my good. The same thing with rejection. I had to experience rejection in order for me to experience success in order for me to get to my goals, because maybe I was going to be too distracted by being friends with the clique that is in, or the popular girls or the popular guys, or even being involved with a guy too early in my age, in my life or whatever. Maybe that guy would have distracted me, or ruined my life, or I would have made bad choices and things. So I see it in that way, because all of a sudden, after me accepting who I am, and me just accepting the fact that I'm okay being by myself, as long as I'm not cruel or unkind to someone else. If someone else needs my help, I'm there for you, or I don't have to be rude or just plain mean to somebody, just to be accepted into society. Just accepting myself, just loving myself, and just being comfortable with being alone with myself and spending time with myself. I can give more to people. I can give 100% to people, because I know how to. Because life has actually just taught me things. So that is the one way that I kind of had a stepping stone over this rejection thing. I didn't walk around with a chip on my shoulder, but I know that those experiences, and me getting now using food as a comfort, was something I had to shake, and it's not easy to shake off that emotion. It became an escape mechanism for me, but in the long run, it became an addiction. So that's how it's just snowballed up to now. So yeah, I just learned that, hey, some things you have to go through in order for you to be at the successful stage that you are in at the present moment. And even if you are still going through the process, let the process happen. Leave it in the hands of God, and just ask Him to give you strength, not to go and sway to the left or to the right, or try and do things on your own. Let Him direct your path, and it will make sense at the long run. It's the same as when you go through a difficult time. When you get to the other side, when things have calmed down and cooled off, and you look back, then you can say, oh, I learned this from that. Oh, now it makes sense. I had to learn also, from that experience of a guy acknowledging me on that day. I had to learn that in order for me to heal, I had to let the past go. I have to forgive. And because sometimes when I walk in my neighborhood, or I see that group of girls at school, or I used to see them group of girls walking in the street, or I would see those group of girls at church or whatever, or those adults, I would, you would have that anger and that resentment when you see that person. It just your mood changes when you see that person. So I had to learn that when your mood changes, when you see somebody who has hurt you, that means you have not forgiven that person. Whether you get angry or that resentment comes up, that means you have not forgiven. So the one way that God taught me how to forgive is, it's not easy to just say I forgive you, right? And then tomorrow you still see that person, you're still angry, your mood still changes, you still have that resentment. So I learned a simple thing. I know it sounds like I'm being preachy now, but there's a scripture in the Bible that says faith comes by hearing, right? So just that simple thing of hearing something repetitively, right? That helps you to release. So if I wake up every morning saying, I forgive Susan, I forgive John or Peter, I forgive that person, every morning I just repeat it, so that my ears can hear it, so that my spirit can hear it, so that my heart can hear it. And then eventually, after time, some wounds are very deep. So after time, you will realize that when you see that person, you're no longer so angry when you see that person. There's no longer that bitterness that comes up, or that resentment, or, oh, I wish that person could just, disappear. So uh, just hearing yourself say that every single day, that I forgive, I forgive, I release, I release, I release, the forgiveness will come, just for you to hear it every day. So that is one method that I would use, because I find it very difficult to forgive, especially a person that has hurt you. So if I find that I said I forgive this person, or that person apologized, and I say, okay, I forgive you, but still when I see that person, and that anger still comes up, or that resentment or bitterness, every morning I wake up, I start saying it so that I can hear it, so that my soul can hear it, so my spirit can hear it, so that my heart can hear it. And slowly your heart starts to release that person. The forgiveness is, or forgiveness is not for the other person. Forgiveness is for you. It's for your peace of mind. It's for you to release that anger and bitterness. It's for you to be free and light, and not have this chip on your shoulder, or this burden on your shoulder. Because when you have hatred or resentment, or anger towards somebody, there's just this heaviness on your shoulder or on your chest that you have. So it just helps to release that person. Forgive. So I had to learn to forgive people, to forgive their actions, and I have to learn not to hold on to things that happen. So for me, it's like there's a lot of ways that I'm still working on, that I'm dealing with rejection, but forgiveness is also one of the paths you have to take when it comes to healing your soul. So even when you're going through, like now with my weight loss journey, I have to face some of the things that hurt me. I have to face some of the subjects in my head, in my heart, in order for me just to move forward. I want to get over food obsession without the medication. I want to get over turning to food for comfort and stuff without this medication. Work on your subject. If you have to go for therapy or counseling, do it. Do it. It will help you. It will make you a better person. It will help you just face a lot of things in your life. So you don't have to carry that chip on your shoulder, or that heaviness alone anymore. And when you release it, you feel free. So yeah, that is my experience with rejection. I'm sure I didn't want to go into a whole deep thing, but I think I touched on most of the things that I wanted to touch on. Face your emotions. Face whatever it is that is making you, or causing you to be stagnant in accomplishing your dreams, or losing that weight, or kicking that habit or addiction. Face your emotion. It's not easy. It took a lot of crying for me, a lot of ways that I had to release my anger, because I had a lot of anger in me, right? Because of the rejection. I felt like, why don't people like me? So you have to find that foundational cause of why you are acting the way you're acting, and why is it that you cannot overcome this thing. And most of the time, for me, it is a counselor that will help you see things better. It is prayer that will, God will show you things about your past, because there's a lot of times that I would cry, and then God would take me back to a memory, or a incident that happened, and he would minister and try, and he would minister to me, and he would heal my heart. So he's been my greatest help. So guys, that is my story. That is my input when it comes to rejection. um, you're not alone. There's help out there. If you want to share your story, if you want to share your experiences with rejection and being overweight or being obese, you're welcome to share your experience in my comment section. Let's talk and let's share with one another and lift one another up. So that we can see that you are not alone. We have been there, or some of us are going through that. Whether you're a young girl or my age, you can still do this. You can face your fears, you can face your emotions, you can face whatever it is that you are going through. You don't have to turn to drugs or food or whatever in order to numb that pain. There's help out there. You just have to find the right avenue. So, guys, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're new, so that you can follow more of the process, because I do want to speak about other subjects that I'm still, working out, emotionally, physically, spiritually. Those are things that contribute to you being successful and you facing your fears and your giants in life. So, guys, I will catch you in my next video. I know I just spoke a lot, but thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope it was helpful. I hope you can share this with someone else who's also going through it, whether it's also just a teenager going through rejection, feeling unloved. They're not alone. They're not alone. And I hope it gave you insight as to what's going on in a young person's mind or a young person's life, going through that whole image thing and trying to be accepted by and loved by the world or society or your peers. So guys, thank you so very much. I will catch you in my next video. Bye bye.